So this shir is based on the writings or the shir given by the Kloisenberg Rebbe. He gave this shir on Parshas Kiteitzei, which was just the Shabbos we just had. Taf Shin Lamed, 1970. I think I'm the only one in the room that was in this world in that year. Is that fair to say? At least in a Gilgul that you're still holding by that Gilgul. It's possible you were in a different Gilgul. So it says, the pasuk starts out with Ki tetzei lemilchama al oivecha, when you go out to war against your enemies, v'natno Hashem elokecha beyadcha v'shavita shivyo. And Hashem shall give your enemy into your hand, and you took captives. Okay, that's what. I'm good. Thank you very much. So, what's going on? So if you look at the Meforshim, especially those who follow the Kabbalistic texts, they talk about the real oyev, the real battle, or Chaim brings this, is the battle against the Yetzer Harah. Everybody knows what the Yetzer Harah is? Yes? Now, when you have the Yetzer Harah, the question is, how do we battle against it and what is it? So before we go any further, the Gemara in Bava Basra Daf Yud Zayin says that there were, and also it's a Gemara in Shabbos, there were people who were able to defeat the Yetzer Harah. For example, Avraham Avinu, Yitzchak, v'Yaakov, and also David HaMelech. That's an opinion. Which means that there is the possibility, at least on a theoretical level, to live a life where the Yetzer Harah is not fully in control of you. Okay? So that's first step. What did they do? They turned the Yetzer Harah from the Yetzer Harah to Yetzer Tov. They made the Yetzer Harah subservient under the power of the Yetzer Tov. Okay? And therefore, they had no problems continuing, growing, and coming closer to Hashem and fulfilling the will of Hashem. Okay? So now we're asking, okay, so what is this Yetzer Harah business? Well, simply, the Yetzer Harah is part of the angelic realm. It's an angel. Kadosh Baruch Hu's got a lot of angels. Hear me, stay with me. I know this is, sad. But it's an angel that has a particular task. And since the Mishnah in Avos, in Vav, it says everything that the Kadosh Baruch Hu created in His world, He created to honor Him. Mishnah in Avos, Perek Vav, it's the 6th Perek, Mishnah 11, for those of you who want to follow along. And you can check up on this. So even the Yetzer Harah was created in order to what? To increase the honor to Hashem. That should puzzle us. What is the Yetzer Harah supposed to do? Get us to sin. Right? But if he was created, the Yetzer Harah was created for the sole purpose of increasing honor to God, how can we say that really that is the mahalach that he's supposed to make us sin? How does this work? This is a rhetorical question. And so, what do you think? That the Yetzer Harah, when he gets you to sin, you think he's dancing and happy and joyous? That he fulfilled the will of Hashem? Or is it that when we struggle and we are able to withstand the Yetzer Hara's enticements, that's what makes the Yetzer Hara happy. Because that shows increase of kavod to Hashem. The shlichus is to what? To cause more kavod Hashem, for Hashem. And therefore, it's only when we don't listen to the Yetzer Hara that the Yetzer Hara is happy. Which means he doesn't want you to sin either. His role is to entice you to. And he whispers in your ear, you don't have to get up. You don't have to get up. Stay in bed. Don't go to Musar. It's only 3 o'clock. What's the worst thing that can happen? But what does the Yetzer Hara really want you to do? He's hoping that you defeat him and come here. That is a chiddush otzum, to think of the Yetzer Hara in this way. And so, it says in the Zohar HaKadosh. Okay, when we read the Zohar, everybody, that's why I told people to bring clean underwear. We don't want people to get all nervous, you know. But we're going to read the Zohar, and I'll translate to you what the Zohar says. This is Zohar in Parshas Truma. Reusa de Gucha Brichu, de Yehun ben Ashat Tadi bepulchone v'yochon be'orach kshot, begin lemazkilun b'chamatovin. Okay, so the ratzon of the Kadosh Baruch Hu is as follows: that people would continue in serving Him and to follow the path of truth so that He can reward them. That's what Hashem wants, Saxton. And since that's the will of Hashem, then how is it possible that the Yetzer Hara comes and creates a situation where he's leading people astray? He seems to be going against the Kadosh Baruch Hu. Rather, we must say that Vadai, Reusa de Mare Ovid, that the Kadosh Baruch Hu is sending the Yetzer Hara in order to give you a greater reward. But for that, you just have to resist him. Now, there are people who think it's impossible to resist the Yetzer Hara. But that's not true. You all made a decision to come to sit in this holy yeshiva and learn Torah. You resisted the Yetzer Hara. You stop doing things that you shouldn't be doing because you're resisting against the Yetzer Hara. You're marbim bechesed and ma'asim toivim and limud Torah and tefillah and all the wonderful things that the Torah tells us to do because you're resisting the Yetzer Hara. And so, the tsar that the Yetzer Hara has, the sadness and pain that the Yetzer Hara has, is when you don't resist him. That brings shame upon the Yetzer Hara. He's embarrassed that he caused you to sin because it's going against the will of Hashem. In Pirkei de Rabbi Eliezer, it says, it talks about the Malachei HaShores, the ministering angels. And you see that the Kadosh Baruch Hu listens to all the prayers of the Jewish people. And the Satan is there saying to Hashem, look how the Jewish people are acting like malachim. They're fasting, they're not eating, they're not drinking, they're not sleeping, they're not smoking, they're sitting and davening all day, like angels. Wait a second. If the Yetzer Hara is coming, supposed to cause us to sin, what's he doing speaking to Hashem on our behalf? Because that's his whole point, was to get us to become tzaddikim. The Yetzer Hara wants you to defeat him. He's not making it that it's impossible for you to defeat him. And so, we have to understand there was a story in the Torah of Yaakov Avinu wrestling with an angel. Do you remember that story? And what is that angel? We said that's the angel of the Yetzer Harah. What did the angel tell Yaakov Avinu so that Yaakov Avinu would let him go? He said, I have to go praise Hashem. I have to sing a shirah, special praise. Now, Dafka, now you have to go. Can't you do it later? Why are you panicking? So says the Kloisenberg Rebbe, when does the Yetzer Harah, the Malach HaMavet, when does he sing? When he is defeated by a human being. When he's resisted, when the human being, in this case being Yaakov Avinu, defeats him, that's what he's singing. That's because Hashem, look what happened. We did it. That's the point of the Yetzer Harah. Also, there's a special vidui that we say on Yom Kippur, on various sins. And when you read it, you always think, well, I didn't do that, I didn't do that. Okay, good. Not in this Gilgul. Baruch Hashem. But one of them says, Al Chet, on the sin, Shechatanu, that we sinned, Lefanecha, before you, Beyetzer Harah. With the Yetzer Harah. So up to now, we always thought that every sin is because of the Yetzer Harah. If we didn't have Yetzer Harah, nobody would sin. We would sit like tzaddikim. Right? Grow long beards and payas and sit and learn Torah all day. We didn't have Yetzer Harah. I wouldn't worry about it. Nobody would go to Ben Yehuda. Nobody would do anything. Whatever, the yeshiva takes care of us, gives us 3 meals a day, gives us everything we need. What do we need more? Have to run around to learn Hebrew in some ulpan with some teacher that is telling you, forget it. No. Yetzer Harah would not be. But here we have a vidui that we're saying, Al chet shechatanu lefanecha beyetzer harah. With the Yetzer Harah. What is that all about? I thought all sins have to do with the Yetzer Harah. So, it says no. The Kloisenberg Rebbe has been saying something that is much deeper. He's saying that we are saying, Hashem, we're sorry that we sinned against the Yetzer Harah because we caused him suffering. We caused him pain. Why? Because we didn't resist. We gave in. We caused him embarrassment. We caused the Yetzer Harah shame. Because why? The Yetzer Harah doesn't want you to fail. The Yetzer Harah wants you to succeed, to grow. That's the whole world is about that. So therefore, when we do a vidui, that we're saying, Hashem, forgive us for a sin with the Yetzer Harah, we're talking about that we did the sin against the Yetzer Harah. That why? That we didn't resist. That we gave in. And by doing that, we caused Chilul Hashem, Chas v'Shalom. And the Yetzer Harah is not happy about it. We see, now you'd say, Rabbi, but that's like, where do you get this from? That the Yetzer Harah is like a friend. The Gemara. The Kloisenberg Rebbe brings Gemaras here and says there are many cases where you see in Shas and Midrashim that Chazal, there were Tanaim and Amoraim, that what? They were used to speak to the Malach HaMavet. They would speak to him all like we speak to each other. In Chagiga it says Rabbi Barabaye would have always had meetings with Malach HaMavet. Why? Why were they afraid of him? Because they knew that the real goal of Malach HaMavet is simply to get them to what? To resist so that they can become greater and greater tzaddikim. And so on Rosh Hashanah, when we say in the Tefillah that the entire world passes before Hashem, Kivnei Maron. Kivnei Maron is given there two explanations. Each of them is very scary. One of them is like sheep that pass through narrow gates. And they're going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. On the 10th they mark with an X. What does that mean when they mark the sheep with an X? It's going to shecht it. The sheep goes through and what does it think? Woo! I thought it was going to be me. It is you. And everybody's like, hey, what's that X on your back? What are you talking about? That's one explanation. Or the other one, Bnei Maron, was a narrow staircase up a mountain where you'd have to, soldiers would go one by one. That's how we go, the entire world. And so, it says in the prayers of Rosh Hashanah that even the Malachim run and they're shaking and treading. They're dreading the judgment. Why? Says Klausberg Rabbi, because they also have to go through this. Because the Lashon is Kol Ba'ei Olam, all of those who are in existence, including them. And so, whenever a person did not resist the Yetzer Hara now he did not fulfill his shlichus. The shaliach has to do what he was commanded to fulfill. The shlichus of the Yetzer Hara was go and tempt Saxton. And the idea is that Saxton should not fall, but should fight back. And so, part of the Tkiyat HaShofar is to wake us up from the wrong impression that what? That the reason we sinned was because of the Yetzer Hara. No. No, my friend. The reason you sinned is because you did not want to resist the Yetzer Hara. You cupcaked out. The whole point of the Yetzer Hara is for your benefit, so that you would struggle and defeat the Yetzer Hara, and thereby earn more and greater rewards from Hashem. And so, we have to, let's call it man up. Take responsibility and accountability. That the reason that we sinned, don't blame the Yetzer Hara. It had a role. It's fulfilling the role that Hashem gave it. But I didn't do my part. I was supposed to resist. But instead, I stayed in bed. Instead, I spoke Lashon Hara. Instead, I came up with all sorts of excuses. You cannot, on Judgment Day, which is coming on Rosh Hashanah, you will not be able to use the excuse, Hashem, but the Yetzer Hara made me do it. No. That is not what happened. Because from Shamayim, you cannot ever say that in Shamayim they were holding me back so I would sin. No, whoever wants to purify himself, to reach higher levels of spiritual connection to Hashem, they help you from Shamayim. They help you. Nobody in Shamayim is trying to trip you up. And so, When a person sins, he doesn't sin because of the Yetzer Harah that he couldn't withstand and couldn't fight. Rather, and this is what he's saying, Kloisenberg Rebbe, Eino rotze lilachem imo. It means that you don't want to battle against the Yetzer Harah. Why? Because of your laziness. That we're lazy. Zeo. It's simply laziness. There are those who say, Rabbi, we can't toil in Torah because we have lots of issues. We need money, we need this, we need that. All sorts of excuses. But you notice that there are people that even when they didn't have all these problems, they didn't learn Torah. And you can see young men, this is what he's writing. I'm not making this up, I'm just reading what he's saying. That you see today young men, I think all of you qualify as young men, when it comes to doing mitzvot, they're weak and tired, they're exhausted, they have no strength. They're falling asleep in 3 o'clock. But if you tell them right now, there's a party, there's a soccer game, whatever it is, full of energy, they'll be dancing like goats all night long. When it comes for Kedusha, that's it. Their body is feeble. They can't move. I've got noodle legs, noodle arms, their heads like this. We need a nap. You see that. You can look at your own life. You'll see that that's many times. That's how it is. Why? Because you don't want to resist. Is it hard? Could be. But so what? So what, Nick? Yes, sir.
It's supposed to be hard, so that we can
It's not correct, but the difficulty is not something that you cannot complete. Whatever challenge is thrown at us, it's something that is within our current state of affairs that we could succeed. We could. It's just a matter of resisting the laziness that is built into our attitude towards the Yetzer. And so, he gives an example from the Medrash. There's a guy who's in the market yelling, trying to get customers, hey, over here, over here, over here. When it's time to daven, he's so weak, he has no strength. That's it. He's tired. Mincha! What's going on? What happened? But you tell him, hey, let's go out. All of a sudden he's got energy, he's got power. There is no obstacle for you to follow the path of Hashem. There is nothing blocking you from becoming a tzaddik. Nothing. You have been given the bechira, the free choice to decide between good and evil. You just need a little bit of exertion so you don't fall into the tumah and impurity. There's a story that he brings about the Vilna Gaon, that he was riding, he was on a train once, and he saw another Jew lean over to another Jew, and he pointed to him and he says, that's the Vilna Gaon. The Vilna Gaon says, if you tried, you could also be a Gaon. You could also be a tzaddik. Nothing is stopping you becoming a tzaddik. But it's too hard. It's too much. Rabbi Yisrael, imagine that this is your last chance. This time around is your last chance. What do you want to do with your life? You want to make money? Hashem gives money. You want power? Hashem gives power. You want honor? Hashem gives honor. What you should want is to be a tzaddik, to fulfill the will of Hashem. That's what Hashem created you for. He didn't need you to be a supermodel. He didn't need you to be, I don't know, Mr. Universe, Arnold Schwarzenegger. That's not the point. Yeah, you're supposed to be healthy. Yes, you're supposed to have tikkun aguf, that you're working out, you have good, eat well, sleep well, all the things that the body requires. Absolutely. But ultimately, perfect yourself. Bring yourself closer and closer to Hashem. And don't think that the Yetzer Harah is the one that has caused you to fail. So that you'll come before Hashem on Yom Kippur and say, Hashem, if you didn't give me Yetzer Harah, I would be a tzaddik. So it's his fault. No, my friend. You simply lay down instead of fighting. And all of you can do it. You can. And so, a person could reach, every single one of us can reach very high madrigas, very high levels. It says in Tanan de Eliyahu, I saw it in Mesilat Yesharim, I always think about this, that it says a person has to say every day, Matai yagiu ma'asai le'maaseh avoisai Avram, Yitzchak veYaakov. When will my actions reach the level of Avram, Yitzchak, and Yaakov? Now, why is Chazal telling you, the rabbis tell you to say something that is completely out of your league? Right? Imagine if I said, oh, when will I become like Shaquille O'Neal and whoever, LeBron James? Not shaykh. I'm more like a magic kind of guy. It's not shaykh. We're not there. You know? Like, Rabbi, can you dunk? Shkoyach. No, mamash lo. Yes? I'm good at passing. I'm good at the bench going with a towel like this. Never understood in sports where people say, we won! I was like, I wasn't on the team. They won. I'm happy that they won, but it's not we. What did I do? I just clapped a few times, stood up. What's going on? Yeah. Well, pour some water on your face.
Small water, you can have it.
Oh. Sprinkle. Well, I don't know. Whatever's happening, you're sitting over here. Yetzer Harah is killing you. Fight back, man.
Oh, Rob, I'm trying.
You could do it.
Thank you.
Back of the neck. Now you're back.
Yeah.
Good. We can all reach the level of Avram, Yitzchak, veYaakov in terms of our maisim. Because if somebody wants to grow in Shamayim, you will receive all the help that you need. And all the obstacles will be removed. It's just the question is, what do you want? Sometimes people want what is called both. What does it mean, both? They want to grow spiritually, and they also want to grow gashmias-wise, in the physical world. To make money, to this, to that. You have to understand something. Those are polar opposites. When you are in the growth-oriented spiritually, the Gashmius is sort of goes down. You want to push Gashmius, you'll see that your spirituality will start going down. The challenge is to find the balance. Where is I am not declining in terms of my spirituality, and that Gashmius wise, I am where I feel that that's where I need to be. Okay, the Ramchal in the Mesilat Yesharim says, take from this world whatever you need to have two things. Yeshuv Da'at v'nachat ruach. That you have. Yeshuv Da'at means you have mental clarity and quiet. And nachat ruach is you have tranquility. Right? Some people feel that the tranquility that they need is they have to have some money in the bank to cover their basics for 3-4 months. Then they're good. Okay. So the Ramchal says, okay, so that's what you need. That's what you need in order to serve Hashem. Remember that the Gashmis is a tool to grow. Not the other way around. That you're going to now, I can't daven in the minyan anymore. Why? I got a job. I start at 8 a.m. What does that mean? Why would you do that to yourself? Oh, Rabbi, I got to get money. So, Hashem can't help you any other way. Okay. And so, you have to understand that the reason you are in a battle against the Yetzer is in order for you to grow. And you can resist the Yetzer. You can put the phone down. You don't have to spend 4 hours on it. Well, then what am I going to do, Rabbi? Well, go for a walk. That's better than that. Read a book. Well, I can't learn all the time, Rabbi. Okay, so read a book about the history of the Jewish people. Great rabbis. Something that would inspire you and yet would not be a complete waste of time. Well, that's what I do, Rabbi. I'm watching like TikTok videos about... And that's not bringing you closer to Hashem. I'm sorry. Nice try. But all the girls are covered. Okay, you're into Muslim girls. Okay, that's a separate problem. So, I want to end with another idea that I saw to strengthen what Rav Dessler told us on increasing Maisim Tovim, that we have to increase our act of Kedusha between now and Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur. So I was driving and I heard Rav Lasli, and he gave a wonderful, wonderful mashal, a parable. He said there was a guy who lived in a small town, wasn't very sophisticated, and he went to the big town and he needed a place to stay. And one of the wealthy Gvirim over there invited him to his house for Shabbos. And so he went, and he's very happy that he could stay there, and there's a meal, everything, the table is all set. And he's looking at the table, and there's something on the table. And he's looking at it, and he didn't know what it was. And all of a sudden, the wealthy homeowner reaches it, picks it up, and it's a bell. And he rings it, ding, ding, ding. Doors open. Servants come in, put all these wonderful foods on the table. Fish and salads and all sorts of challahs, everything. And they're eating, and there's good vibe, and everything going well, and they ding, ding, ding. They bring the wine, and they bring drinks, and they ding, ding, ding. They take the first course out, bring the second course. It's unbelievable. And then just before the end, he rings it again, and clear the table, bring desserts. They do the whole thing. It's fascinating. The entire thing, he's staring at this thing, this bell. Well, comes Motzi Shabbos, and the wealthy man says, well, I hope you had a good time. He says, yeah, what I really want is that bell. He says, really? He says, you can have it, I'll give you as a gift. Really? No, I'll pay for it. No, I'm giving you as a gift, as a memento. Comes home to his wife, she says, how was Shabbos in the big city? So, it was unbelievable. Listen, I want you to invite all our friends for a meal. Like, really? Well, okay. When? Let's do it tomorrow. What do you mean tomorrow? There's a lot of people, like 100 people. How am I going to make all that? I have to buy the meat and the fish. He said, then you don't have to buy anything. I said, what do you mean? I said, I'm telling you, I was in the big city. They have this AI thing. It's unbelievable. I'm going to show you at the meal, get everybody. Okay, so they put out an invitation. 3 days from then, there's going to be a big meal. And the tables are, all set. And she's like, there's no food, It's like, don't worry. And he puts the bell next to him. And everybody sits down and he goes, okay. Ding, ding, ding. Nothing. Rings again. Nothing. And people are looking, they fasted 3 days. They thought they're really getting a big meal. Nothing. And he's shaking it again and harder. And nothing's happening. So much so that he breaks the bell. And one of the guests comes up to him and says, what are you doing? He says, you don't understand. I got this bell that you're supposed to ring and all the food comes. He goes, what are you talking about? So he tells him the story that he was on Shabbos. He went to some wealthy man and he says, you dummy. You have to prepare all the food and you have to have the food ready and then the servants will come. When you ring, they will bring whatever you prepared. And he was so embarrassed in front of the entire village. The bell that is ringing is people think that it's shofar, you blow the shofar, all the sins are wiped away. You blow the shofar, Hashem will forgive everything. My friend, you have to have Maisim Tovim. You have to have Tehillim. You have to have prayers. You have to have Chesed. You have to have Talmud Torah. All the wonderful things to prepare the meal. Then the bell will work. Then the shofar will help. But without all of the prerequisites of you working and bringing everything ready, the shofar on Rosh Hashanah is not going to save us. Mincha.